Welcome in, Hawks fans, to your Atlanta Hawks fan show. It's your boy Bryce Lewis back at it again to talk all Atlanta Hawks. And now we have another special guest with us today, Avery Braxton. Welcome into the show, my guy. How are you today?
I'm good, Bryce. What's happening, Hawks fans? What's going on in Atlanta? Shout out to all the Atlanta Hawks fans out there. Big season. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Weren't you a former reporter at a Macon news station?
Yeah. So I was a sports anchor at 13 WMAZ in Macon, Georgia. So for those of you familiar with the Georgia area, just down the road, about an hour south. So it was really dope to be able to kind of watch and kind of be a part of that and report on some of that stuff. So it was cool.
Yes. So we love. So this man has expertise. This man is very well knowledgeable about everything I'm going to talk about today. But let's go ahead and dive into it, Avery. So first thing I want to get into is I just want to recap some things. I want to recap free agency. Atlanta was able to lock up John Collins. They were to lock up Trae Young. They signed Dang, and they traded for DeLon Wright. And they were able to also lock up Lou Will again. And for the most part, coming into it, the Hawks didn't really have a lot of holes, you could say, on the roster. They just had to make some minor improvements to certain positions. So coming out of free agency from that perspective, what did you think of the Hawks' overall free agency period?
It seemed to me that Travis Schlenk and the front office were in like run it back mode, right? You have a core group of young guys, and pretty much everybody you name minus Lou Will and Gordy Jing and DeLon are all 23 and younger, right? So when you have a core group like that, you want to take that. You have that kind of success, you build on it. And they brought in some veterans. Gordy Jing is going to do an excellent job as a backup to Clint Capella. He's big. He operates in space pretty well. He's smart. DeLon Wright kind of the same way. We really needed a backup point guard to kind of fill some of that holes. And you kind of saw that the coaching staff kind of had to play around a little bit and make sure that when they had to take Trae Young out, that they weren't losing anything. And while Bogdanovich and Kevin Huerter did well, they needed a true backup point guard. So I think they did a good job in plugging in some of those holes. You bring back Solomon Hill, who's another veteran presence, a pretty good shooter. I think the Hawks put themselves in a good position to, like I said, kind of in the beginning, just run it back and see if we can go even further. And when you have a superstar like Trae Young, it almost doesn't matter what you do, just give him some help. And I think they got that. They locked up that 1-2 punch, like you said, in John Collins, and that was crucial because I think if we let him walk, we would have been making a big mistake.
Yeah, same. I mean, that was obviously a very big topic throughout the entire year, and I'm glad they got him back. I think, they're one of the best pick and roll duos in the NBA, and I feel like the chemistry they have is unmatched, and that's something that you really don't want to take away from a guy like Trae and also from John as well. But now we want to transition into the draft. The Hawks are considered to have 2 steals in the draft with Jalen Johnson and Jarrod Cooper. How did you feel about those picks when we got them? Were you like, yeah, these are steals for us, I'm glad we got them? And then obviously, we have a deep team. What roles do you see them playing? Because it's going to be a battle to get some playing time, especially in Cooper's sense.
Yeah, I think Sharife Cooper he's dynamite. He's one of those guys. He kind of gives me, I don't want to say Chris Paul. I think more Isaiah Thomas kind of vibes. He's a guy who can score, he can facilitate, he can do a little bit of everything. He's not nearly as good as Trae Young, but he does some of the things that Trae does well in a similar fashion. So I think he's going to have a really good time kind of playing on that bench role, learning from Trae, learning from DeLon, learning from a guy like Lou Williams, who is just a master at getting a bucket. I think he's a really good pickup. And you already see he's making noise in Summer League. I mean, he hit the game winner the other day, and you can see, talking to the Pacers bench, like, did it look good? Sir. That's the kind of swagger that you kind of have to have in Atlanta. And of course, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with Sharife, he is from the Atlanta area, went to McEachern High School. So he's all about, that ATL lifestyle and what it takes to be good here and thrive here. And when it comes to Jalen Johnson, I think, is the true steal. Obviously, he had his struggle at Duke, he had some injury problems. He had to walk away after just a few games. But in those few games, he had big impact. You see the same way here in the Summer League. I think I saw somebody tweet out, they really let us get Trae and John Collins 2.0.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think that's a cool way to think about it, in that you have these young guys who are under other young guys and just have a chance to learn it and just grow and get better. And I think they're really going to push some of our other younger talent and Okonkwo and Nathan Knight and some of those other guys who were on that bench just to get better. And I think we made ourselves a deeper team with those draft picks for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people say we're the deepest team in the NBA. I would not disagree with that. It seems like we have a guy at every position that we can trust to come in there and be able to give us some good minutes if needed. So now, okay, we're going to transition to some of the expectations for the season. And, obviously this team made it to Eastern Conference Finals last year. Obviously, draft free agencies happened. So now sitting where we are right now in case a move is made. And obviously I feel like during the season, we have a lot of pieces teams would want. So we'll see if they're potentially even in trade talks. I'm sure you'll hear rumors. You're going to hear about Cam because that's the guy everybody thinks is going to be moved. Someone's moved. What are your expectations for the season? What would you like to see the Hawks do for you?
I think expectations for the season, I was one of those fans who, I kind of took a little bit more of a measured approach to it. Obviously I want them to win. When they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, they're 2 games away. I'm cheering like the same way everybody else is. But I think we are still one step away. And I think, they had that fantastic run. We were also the benefit of some injury problems, especially with Joel Embiid in that second round. So when you think about those kind of things, I'm one of those people, I just kind of have tempered expectations. And I think anybody who is an Atlanta sports fan understands that you kind of have to have tempered expectations because you get too high, that's when they kind of bring you down a notch and, level you out. But I would really like to see them make another run at it. I think with the team that we have, being as deep and as energetic and young as they are, I think there is potential for us to do that again. As far as, the trade situation, I don't want to see us trade anybody, but, I don't think anybody outside of Trey and John are not expendable. Mm-hmm. And I say that to say, like, yes, we have a good, strong core, but if we could bring in somebody who can be kind of a two-way player and a third scoring option, even though Bogdanovich is really kind of that number 2 right now, I think you have somebody who can give you some shooting and some defense. I think that is a good approach to go to. But with Kevin Huerter and Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter, the way those 3 played, in the playoffs, I think is a really good sign that you don't necessarily have to make a move unless you just get the right offer. And I think Travis Schlenk and Nate McMillian and everybody else in that organization are smart enough to understand that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right now, it wasn't broke. You brought in, Nate McMillian to be the interim head coach now, the official head coach. He made his tweaks, his tinkering, and obviously it worked. So running back, let's see what we can do, and let's see if we can make some noise. But, the other teams in the league are getting better too. The Knicks went and got Kemba Walker. They took us to 6-7 games. So you got to be understanding that while there is a lot to be confident about with the way this team is operating, other teams get better too.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mind if I correct you. It was 5 games against the Knicks series. We beat them in 5. So right. Yeah, you good. It happens. But yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying from that perspective. I mean, I that's why I was like, I don't know if I want to come into the season and say, yeah, championship or nothing. But then I also sit here and I say, listen, we still got to go through Brooklyn. What if they're healthy? Philadelphia's healthy. What if they move Ben Simmons and maybe they are able to pull off and get Damian Lillard? That's going to make stuff really tough. And then Milwaukee's the team to beat because they're the team that came out of the East. So, but I think, we're ready for the challenge. And I know a lot of people feel like if we were healthy last year, we would have made it, especially with Hunter and Cam, if they were able to be healthy throughout the entire playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see if that actually comes to fruition, what the results will be when it gets to that point. And one last thing I want to get into is I want to talk about Nate McMillian for a minute, because I made a tweet like a week ago or earlier this week last week about this. We have such a deep team, and Nate has a very unique challenge on his hands, because now you can play with different lineups. You have different guys you can play in certain situations, certain matchups. You don't I said he can't necessarily be loyal outside of the main core to certain players, because you have so much talent. You don't want to just go with something that may not be working just because you don't feel like changing the rotation. You have to be willing to make those adjustments. And KDK, I just want to get your thoughts on that, and just the fact that we have so much depth. You have to also know when to use it. Hey, we might maybe in the playoffs, hey, we may not be able to play you this series. We're gonna go with him, even though he may have been a main contributor in the regular season. Because this regular season could be important. He's going to figure out who he trusts, who he doesn't trust, who he prefers, who he doesn't. There's going to be a lot of competition going on. So what are your thoughts on all that?
My thoughts is you got to hoop. You know, if you're on that bench, if you're in that second lineup, second rotation, you got to hoop. Because quite honestly, the competition is so steep, and the team is so deep right now, and everybody's young, right? So, you know, when you're young, you feel like you got talent, everybody's going to want, you know, a piece of the pie. And quite honestly, the reality is not everybody's going to get it. I think outside of, you really kind of get past Cam, DeAndre, and Kevin, it's wide open as far as who's going to get, you know, real minutes and be able to play in playoff series and things like that. So I think Nate McMillian has what you describe as problems everybody would like to have. You know what I'm saying? He's got options. And I think when you have options, it really just it's going to make that team better because the competition is going to be crazy. All those guys are going to want playing time. Sharif and Jalen, I'm sure, are going to want playing time. Skylar Mays is going to want some playing time at the end of the bench. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, when it comes to all of that, you just got to go hoop. And Nate McMillian's going to figure out who pairs well together, especially in that second unit. He's going to figure out, you know, when he's got to take Bogdanovich out, who's going to pair well opposite of Trey. And when Trey comes out, we got to figure out who's going to be the go-to backup point guard to run that second unit and make sure that, you know, things don't fall apart when he comes out the game and the scoring is still happening and the ball moves. And I think one issue that the Hawks did have a little bit was Trey was almost too ball dominant at times, and you can kind of tell when he wasn't able to get his shot going as well as he would have liked, the offense kind of stalled a little bit. And so especially when he comes out and Bogdan and Kevin have to kind of play off each other, or Bogdan and Cam Reddish, whoever it is, you just got to be more confident that second unit doesn't necessarily fall apart. So I think Nate McMillian has a wealth of riches. I think he's an incredibly smart guy. And Nate, if you're watching this out there, did a fantastic job, man. We're happy to have you back.
I give a hand clap for Nate McMillian. Yes, sir.
Give a hand clap.
Yes, sir.
He earned that full-time role with the Atlanta Hawks. So, like I said, there's so much to look forward to, I think, with this young team. I think the core is a perfect young core. I think Travis Schlenk has really done a solid job in free agency, bringing, you know, veterans who are going to make those young guys better, just, you know, give them some wisdom, each one teach one kind of thing. And, you know, there's reason to be happy in Atlanta right now.
Yeah, definitely. And excited for the season, man. Excited for everything that's going to come up, man. And, you know, obviously one of the little goal I have was just be a top 4 seed for me, just to get that home court, you know, just, you know, because, you know, there were times we were on the road all the time. So, you know, and I think, you know, that home court is going to help, you know, being able to go home to Atlanta and hopefully improve that home playoff record. Because usually young teams do better at home than on the road, but this playoffs was the opposite. So hopefully, you know, we continue to make those strides and move forward. But I just want to say I appreciate you, Avery, for coming on to the show today. Before we let you go, let people know where to find you.
Oh, at Brax Avery, Brax_Avery on Twitter and Instagram. That's BRAX_AVERY. Make sure you follow your boy. I'm always talking Atlanta Hawks. I'm always talking Falcons, all things Atlanta. And I got a few things up my sleeve as well, you know, once the season comes around. So would be happy to follow all of, you know, ATL Nation.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on. All right, if our Hawks fans, this was your Atlanta Hawks fan show. We'll see you next time.
To host a fan show or appear as a fan on a fan show, create a profile in Fan Media Network. Then look for the news page in our website and fan show resources page. Help yourself. We give show hosts a show graphic in team colors, a simple short show format, tips on pre- and post-production, ideas to get fans and guests on your show, Apple News distribution and show sponsorship sales and services to help featured show hosts earn money. Show hosts use our iPhone app to publish their shows. Our website supports Android users.